Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Bang mail.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you.
What's the deal with food toppings? They're like food bottomings with the ground. Like, you know how you get certain foods, typically like pizza is the big example, but I think a number of foods have something like this where they have toppings. And this name makes sense to me, for once. I mean, holy shit, is your mind, has it exploded into 7 pieces because Sam knows what toppings means in terms of food? Well, thing is, like, yeah, you put stuff on top, but it's a topping. I get that idea. The other parts you put on top of the rest of the food is a topping because it's on the top. But like, you only really hear about like toppings. Like, when did you part of the food at that point? Like, when did you part of the dish? Like, at what point is it no longer a topping? Like, would you consider like the top piece of bread on a sandwich to be a topping, or is that, does that not count? Does something on top of all of the main part of the sandwich count as a topping to that? Like, if you have a burger and you put cheese on it, would cheese be the topping? Or is it just a cheeseburger, and then you put, like, I don't know, like, say you have a cheeseburger, and then you put, like, pickles on it, and tomatoes and stuff. Like, would those be toppings? They're not really necessarily on the top. They're on top of the named burger, but they're not on the top of the very thing. And isn't it just kind of part of it with different ingredients? Is that filler at that point, then? Is it filling? But where do we draw the line? What really is a topping? And why don't we really say anything about the other parts then, too? Like, again, like, what about bottomings? What if you put something underneath the main thing? What if you put cheese underneath the burger? Or you put, say, the pickles and the tomato and the lettuce and stuff underneath the burger. Would that be a bottoming? Because, yeah, it's not technically on the very bottom of the plate, but neither would of the whole thing, because you'd have the bottom part of the bread there. But, like, if the bread on the top doesn't count as the topping and that stuff does, then wouldn't it also count as a bottoming? And why do we never talk about the bottomings of food in the first place if we're talking about the toppings? What usually the only way it makes sense is, like, if you're mentioning the main thing and the main thing is at the bottom, then you don't have to, because you're mentioning the main thing and stuff on top of it. But, like, I don't know, like, what if you have a pizza, and then you put it into, like, a vat of mashed potatoes? Would the bottomings be mashed potatoes, or would it be mashed potatoes with the topping of a pizza? I'm just asking questions here. I'm not trying to put anybody, I'm not trying to make anybody, rethink their entire life or anything. But if you happen to, I mean, that's just what happens when your mind is open to new ideas. Very important ideas, like, what about toppings? What about bottomings? What are they? What's the difference? Where do you draw the line? Is there a line? Do we exist? These all kind of coincide with the discussion of food most of the time. So really, what's the deal with food toppings? They're like food sidings. Oh wait, no, they're not. Those are what you use when you are remodeling your gingerbread house.
What's the deal with Sam?